On a summer afternoon in Harlem, the air smells like fried chicken, collard greens, and cornbread still steaming from the oven. Through the doors of a packed restaurant, gospel hums on the radio, and laughter spills into the street. This is Sylvia's, a Harlem landmark where the food tastes like home and the walls hold 6 decades of history. Behind the counter once stood a woman with a smile as warm as her cooking. Sylvia Woods, the queen of soul food. She built a restaurant that fed presidents, preachers, and the people who built Harlem itself. But her story began far from the bright lights of the city, on a patch of red dirt in South Carolina, where faith, family, and a cast-iron skillet were all you needed to survive. This is Black Business Files, the stories of the dreamers who built empires from almost nothing. Sylvia Presley was born in 1926 in Hemingway, South Carolina, a rural town of farms, faith, and family. She was raised by her mother Julia and her grandmother, who taught her that food wasn't just about feeding people, it was about loving them. From sunrise to sunset, she worked the fields, cooked for her family, and learned how to turn the simplest ingredients into feasts. The lessons were simple but powerful. Waste nothing, season everything, and always give thanks. After marrying Herbert Woods, a hard-working man with big dreams, Sylvia followed the path of thousands of black Southerners escaping Jim Crow, heading north during the Great Migration. Harlem, New York, promised opportunity, but opportunity had to be earned. Harlem in the 1940s was alive, jazz in the clubs, church bells on Sunday, and ambition in the air. Sylvia worked odd jobs until she landed one that felt right, a waitress at Johnson's Luncheonette, a small diner on Lenox Avenue. She didn't just serve food, she served care. Patrons came for the grits and stayed for Sylvia's kindness. Her laugh could brighten a morning. Her presence made the place feel like home. One day, the owner pulled her aside. "Sylvia," he said, "I'm selling the place. I want you to have it." She was stunned. "Me? I can't afford that." But destiny had already chosen her. At home that night, Sylvia told Herbert what the owner said. Money was tight, barely enough for rent, much less a restaurant. But Herbert believed in her. Quietly, he took off his wedding ring and pawned it for $20 to help her start. Her mother, back in South Carolina, mortgaged her farm for $19,000 so Sylvia could buy the diner outright. In 1962, Sylvia's restaurant was born. Just 35 seats, no fanfare, no investors. But the aroma of her cooking drifted down Lenox Avenue like a promise. She worked 16-hour days, sometimes falling asleep in the kitchen. But customers kept coming. Harlem spread the word. Go to Sylvia's. That's real food. That's real love. The 1960s were Harlem's heartbeat, a time of protests, poetry, and possibility. And through it all, Sylvia's became more than a restaurant. It was a meeting place. Politicians, musicians, and civil rights leaders gathered around her tables. A young Al Sharpton found mentors here. So did local organizers, church members, and tired neighbors who couldn't afford to eat. Sylvia fed them anyway. "If they're hungry," she'd say, "God will bless me later." She wasn't just running a business, she was building a sanctuary. In a neighborhood fighting to survive, Sylvia's kitchen became sacred ground. By the 1970s, Sylvia's was more than a local favorite. It was a Harlem institution. Lines stretched down the block on Sundays. Celebrities came to eat. Aretha Franklin, Muhammad Ali, Diana Ross, and every politician who wanted Harlem's heart made a stop at Sylvia's. But Sylvia wasn't satisfied with fame. She wanted longevity. She expanded the restaurant, opened catering services, and launched Sylvia's soul food products. Sauces, mixes, and seasonings that carried Harlem's flavor nationwide. By the early 2000s, her products were in Walmart, Kroger, and Costco, making Sylvia's a household name far beyond New York. She even opened new locations, including a fast casual outlet and a spot in Atlanta. Her small Harlem diner had evolved into a multi-stream enterprise. Her secret? She understood brand storytelling before anyone called it that. Her smile on every jar wasn't marketing, it was authenticity. Beneath Sylvia's warmth was sharp business sense. She owned her building, a rare and crucial move that kept her protected as Harlem's rents exploded. She employed family members in leadership roles, keeping control and profits in-house. When COVID-19 hit decades later, 29% of Sylvia's sales came from takeout and delivery, a diversification that helped the family weather the storm. At one point, they were operating at just 50% of pre-pandemic revenue. But because the business had multiple income streams, it survived when many didn't. Sylvia built her company on faith and foresight, and those principles outlasted her. Before we continue, if you love stories about Black visionaries who turned grit into greatness, hit that like button and subscribe to Black Business Files. Your support helps us keep these untold business legacies alive. Now, let's go back to Harlem, where the queen of soul food was about to feed presidents. Oprah Winfrey praised Sylvia's on national TV, but Sylvia never let fame change her. She still worked the floor, still tasted every pot, still greeted locals first. She knew success meant nothing if Harlem didn't feel welcome at her table. Her restaurant was proof that a Black-owned business could attract the world without losing its roots. Many businesses fade when the founder steps aside. Sylvia refused to let that happen. She trained her children to handle every detail: operations, finance, product distribution. When she retired in 2010, her son Van Woods took the reins seamlessly. The Woods family expanded the brand through Sylvia's food products, which continues to sell nationwide. They also built real estate holdings around the restaurant and reinvested in Harlem. Generational ownership became the key. Sylvia didn't just pass down recipes, she passed down systems. She turned a family kitchen into a family corporation. By the time Sylvia retired, she had already become a Harlem legend. When she passed in 2012, the city mourned. Thousands gathered at Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon. Reverend Al Sharpton called her the queen who fed us all. Bill Clinton sent flowers. Barack Obama released a tribute, praising her as a symbol of faith, service, and family. But her real legacy wasn't celebrity, it was endurance. She showed that a Black woman from a farm town could build an empire that outlived her, through discipline, love, and vision. Today, Sylvia's restaurant remains in family hands. Same location, same recipes, same warmth. Her sauces and seasonings line grocery store shelves nationwide. The Woods family continues to expand the brand into e-commerce, catering, and media partnerships. And if you walk into Sylvia's right now, the same smells fill the air: fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread. The queen's spirit never left. From a 35-seat diner to a multi-million-dollar brand, Sylvia Woods' story is proof that greatness can rise from the simplest ingredients: a $20 pawn ticket, a mother's faith, a Harlem kitchen filled with hope. She once said, "I cook with love. That's my secret." And maybe that's the real recipe, because when love becomes a business model, it feeds more than stomachs. It feeds generations. This is Black Business Files, honoring the visionaries who turned hunger into heritage and built legacies that never stop serving.